Good day everyone, you are welcome once again to Mathematics and Solution Center. Today we'll be looking at quadratic formula. We are going to derive the quadratic formula from completing the square method, and we will use it to solve one or two problems. The general form of any quadratic equation is given in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. This is the general form of any quadratic equation. Now we are going to apply completing the square method on this, but I'm going to take this tutorial in such a way that if you pick any quadratic equation, you yourself you can solve it with completing the square method. Just listen attentively. If there's any part of this video you don't understand, all you have to do is to pause the video, rewind it, and then watch it again. And you can also put your questions in the comment section. I will attend to it. Thank you very much. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for me to be motivated. The first thing we are going to do when you are solving with completing the square method, you can list out the steps as I'm going to be saying them. Number one is to make sure that the coefficient of x squared is 1. How do I make the coefficient of x squared to be 1? I have to divide through by what? The coefficient of x squared. Therefore, I have ax squared divided by a plus bx over a, then plus c over a is equal to 0. So a will cancel a. I am left with what? x squared plus bx over a plus c over a is equal to 0. That's the first step. We've made sure that the coefficient of x squared is 1. Now the next thing we are going to do, we are going to take the constant term. What do I mean by the constant term? This part to the other side of the equation. Therefore, I'm going to have x squared plus bx all over a is equal to minus c over a. Now, after we have done this, the next stage now, number 3 step, we are going to add to both sides of this equation the square of the half of the coefficient of x. You can pause the video and state this step. Repeat it after me. You are going to add the square of the half of the coefficient of x to both sides of the equation. Now, what am I going to add? We are going to add the square of the half of the coefficient of x. The first thing, what is coefficient of x? The coefficient of x is b over a. Now, half of it is times half. Then the square. This is what we mean by the square of the half of the coefficient of x. To both sides, let's simplify it further. Therefore, we are going to have b over 2a all squared. This is what we are going to add to both sides of the equation. Therefore, my equation becomes x squared plus b over ax, then plus b over 2a squared is equal to minus c over a, then plus b over 2a raised to the power of 2. We've added the term to both sides of the equation. Anytime you add this expression we are talking about to an incomplete quadratic expression, all you have succeeded in doing, you've turned the quadratic expression to a perfect square. The left-hand side is now a perfect square. How do we factorize a perfect square? I will just pick x. Pick the symbol that is here, which is plus. If it is minus, I'm going to pick. Then I will pick what is inside this square also, the other thing that is squared here. So I'm going to pick b over 2a all squared. Then is equal to b squared over 4a squared, then minus c over a. The next thing, we work on the right hand side more. X plus b over 2a raised to the power of 2 is equal to the LCM of 4a squared and a is 4a squared. 4a squared goes in 4a squared. I have b squared. 4a squared goes in 4a squared. We have 1. 1 times b squared is b squared. Then minus a goes in 4a squared. I have 4a. 4a times c, that is 4ac. At this particular stage, I'm going to remove the power I have here by taking the square root of both sides. And anytime you take the square root of both sides, make sure you add your plus or minus sign. So is equal to plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 4a squared inside the square root. Therefore, we have x plus b over 2a is equal to plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over the square root of 4a squared is actually 2a. I will now take this term to the other side, but don't forget anytime you take a term across the equality sign, the sign of that term will change. Therefore, I have x is equal to minus b over 2a plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. We have two fractions, then I will combine them together by finding their LCM. Therefore, the LCM of 2a and 2a is 2a. 2a goes into a is 1. 1 times minus b is minus b. Then my plus or minus. 2a goes into a is 1. 1 times everything we have here is going to be everything we have there. Therefore, this is our general formula. Some people call it almighty formula, or some people call it quadratic formula for solving quadratic equation. Now let's take a question and use this quadratic formula to solve it. Take for instance, if I have x squared minus 7x plus 10 is equal to 0. In this expression, my a is equal to 1 and my b is equal to minus 7, while c is equal to 10. Comparing this equation with the general form of a quadratic equation, quote your formula before you start substituting. Minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over, take note of something, this line is going to under everything we have there, therefore over 2a. Don't forget my a is 1, my b is minus 7, and my 10 is c. So let's substitute. C is equal to minus into bracket minus 7 plus or minus square root of what is b minus 7 squared minus 4 times 1 times my c is 10 all over 2 times 1. Therefore, I have x is equal to plus 7 plus or minus square root of minus 7 squared is 49. Then minus 4 times 10 is 40 all over 2. I have s is equal to 7 plus or minus square root of 49 minus 40. The answer is 9 over 2. Then x is equal to 7 plus or minus the square root of 9 is actually 3 over 2. Therefore, I have x is equal to 7 plus 3 over 2 or 7 minus 3 all over 2. 7 plus 3 is 10 over 2 or 4 over 2. 7 minus 3 is 4 over 2. Therefore, I have 5 or 2. These are the two roots of the quadratic equation. Time will not permit us. If you have any question, please quickly put it in the comment section. And don't forget to go and try various examples with this formula. Apply what you've learned. You will see the difference. You will see that you will start solving quadratic equations. Thanks for watching once again. But please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also comment. At the same time, put on the notification button so that you will be notified anytime we upload any video like that. Thank you. Remain blessed. We love you.